Next on the 5 o'clock report, we'll visit one school district where 4 votes in yesterday's election made the difference in their plans for the future.
And if you or someone you love smokes, then you'll want to see our HealthCast series on breathing easier. We'll have the story of one man who wishes he could take back 48 years. Life or death? Should animals be used for testing, or is there another way? Tonight in our extra report, Jim Blue examines this highly charged issue. The 5 o'clock report coming up next.
Turn to WDTN Channel 2, news that hits home. This is the 2 News 5 o'clock report.
These kids are playing ball and running, but that may not be happening around Carlisle schools much longer.
Good evening. The Carlisle School District is just one of the places where the levy failed again, but this time just 4 votes.
Yeah, how close can you get?
Yeah.
You know, what that could mean, says the district, is dated and worn out school books and cuts in school programs, after-school programs, and fewer buses.
2 News reporter Mary Alice Roscoe's in Carlisle. And Mary Alice, how are they dealing with this loss?
Well, kids are taking it sort of hard. I heard that students were fairly quiet in school today. That's what some teachers told me. The students had campaigned for this levy and worked pretty hard for it, all because it has a huge impact on them. There are no junior high sports right now. They're not coming back. Senior high sports, like girls softball behind me, are now in danger of being cut to make ends meet. I took a look at some of the books the kids are using. This is a 7th grade English book. I'm no expert, but it doesn't look like it's in terrific shape. The kids were looking forward to getting some new equipment, new programs, and so naturally the kids I talked to are taking it pretty hard.
I think education's important, and levy not passing is disappointing.
There is an air of despair in Carlisle today after the 5.9 mil expense levy failed by just 4 votes. Last night, Superintendent Bobby Grigsby and teachers watched the returns anxiously. So much was riding on this vote.
We are falling behind in textbooks and technology equipment, things of this nature. School buses, we haven't purchased school buses like in 3 years.
All junior high sports were cut this year, and with no money to spare, they're not coming back. Shannon Bowser says it's a huge tragedy.
Here. I mean, this is Ohio. That's pretty much all we have. So these kids are going to be left out, and it's going to cause their grades to drop and everything because they're not going to have anything else to do. And I don't know, I think it'll kind of cause trouble because kids will be out wanting to get in trouble and everything.
Students are feeling the pinch off the field, too.
Our English and our geography and our health textbooks are outdated by a couple years. And it affects our school in that way, and us not having programs that other school has, and it's always like a catch-up game.
As the budget crunch tightens here at Carlisle, a lot of the seniors say they're getting out just in time, but they're still concerned about the younger kids, the junior high and high school kids of tomorrow, and what kind of education they'll get. But if the school's financial situation doesn't improve, some of them may never stick around long enough to make it to junior or senior high school.
I plan on moving if we don't have sports. After we don't.
You would go to another school?
Yeah.
A lot of kids feel that way?
I think most of them do, but I don't know if their parents will let them move and go to a different school.
But maybe the biggest problem these kids face isn't the lack of textbooks or buses. It's morale.
They don't want to put the effort to learn because, like Matt said, we need new books, and they don't have the money to get them.
Well, they aren't calling it defeat just yet. The school officials are calling for a vote recount. 4 votes is an awfully slim margin. There is room for error. So if you ever thought that your vote doesn't count when you go to the polls, don't tell that to the people in Carlisle. Reporting live from Carlisle, I'm Mary Alice Roscoe. Now back to you.
Okay, Mary Alice, thanks.
In Eaton, students have a very different problem. Teachers voted to strike, but are willing to talk about it. Concerned parents and students signed a petition today to give board members a message that they want a contract immediately. It's been more than a year negotiations have been going on, but if necessary, they will strike.
We're making all the preparations that we have to make for that eventuality, hoping that we don't have to do it. We like what we're doing. We want to be in our classrooms.
Board members say a federal mediator will be brought in on Friday to sit in on the talks.
And now a success story. Voters said yes to issue 1, the Human Services Levy. And now a lot of human service organizations are going to be getting a much-needed boost. Sheriff Gary Haynes, the levy co-chairman, is crediting voter turnout for the win.
There were 3 issues, and they were all money issues that are going to cost people money. They all 3 passed. That's a commitment to me that people care. They care about their schools, They care about the well-being of others. They care about the future development of others. The people who need to take a pat on the back are the taxpayers who voted yes.
Issue 1 will also help develop downtown business and a variety of other programs. Now, let's wrap up yesterday's results in the Dayton mayor's primary. Here's who you're going to have to choose from in November. Incumbent Richard Clay Dixon, Mike Turner. They were the 2 top vote getters. In the Dayton City Commission, 4 candidates running in November. Incumbents Tony Capizzi and Richard Zimmer, school board member the Reverend Bill Augman, and community activist Dean Lovelace. No vote, just fact, the Montgomery County JVS levy passed. The people who made these decisions represents a very, very small percentage. Turnout was abnormally low, far less than the 28% they were expecting and hoping for.
The world's political leaders are watching and waiting tonight while Bosnia's Serbian parliament debates the UN's proposed peace plan. The lawmakers are expected to debate the plan for 2 days. Some say there's a compromise in the works that will please all of the members. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Warren Christopher visited Russia this morning, courting support for a NATO-backed peacekeeping force. The U.S. stands behind military intervention if the Serbs sign the agreement, but our European allies are lukewarm about the idea.
Okay, back in this country now, an indecent exposure call turned into a lot more for Texas police. The driver of the red car took police on a high-speed chase through several towns outside Dallas. They had to force him off the road to get him to stop. You'll see here in a second the chase didn't end there. The whole ordeal, it took more than 2 hours. The man was allegedly wearing high heels, purple gloves, and a pearl necklace.
Okay. A story about a neighborhood store holdup usually doesn't get too much attention, but it does when the robber is only 11 years old. Police say the boy walked into this store, pointed a loaded pistol at the owner, and demanded all the money in the cash register. The owner gave him $8, then got out his own gun and chased the boy to school. The boy denied everything until the gun fell out on the floor. And there's good news for the mother of a 7-year-old boy who wandered away from school. He's home safe today after being missing for more than 24 hours. Remember this story from yesterday? Well, Brent King followed a dog and lost track of where he was. He and the dog wandered into some of the woods, and then they lost track, couldn't tell where they were. The pair hid from a rainstorm under some bushes, and that's where they were found late last night. Isn't that something?
Look at him chomping into that food there.
Yeah, Mom's real happy that he only wandered away.
Okay, a little bit of rain, but of course in Tennessee this time of year it's not very cold. About the same as here, maybe.
Okay, let's check in with Carl Nichols and find out what we have ahead.
Well, actually, we got some pretty good weather heading our way. We've had a combination of everything today. A little sunshine mixed in with the clouds, a few scattered showers around, and temperatures this afternoon for a high up to 75. Right now, we backed off a few degrees. Currently in 70 at Dayton at the airport, 64% humidity, a southwest wind at 9. We have a few scattered showers around the Miami Valley. If you're going to be out and about over the next several hours, keep in mind that you might have to work your way through one of those showers. 7 o'clock this evening, the temperature about 70 degrees, skies partly cloudy, and a chance for a spotty shower. But by midnight, everything will be over with, skies mostly clear, and temperature at midnight a very pleasant 60.
Okay, thank you, Carl.
And coming up next, exploring medical ethics. The doctors go too far in bedside manner and want to take their patients to bed. What's being done about it, and where do you go if it happens to you?
Can apple cider make you sick, or worse yet, kill you? Killer cider tonight on HealthCast.
Now you can get a 2-year lease on an Accord LX sedan for $239 a month with just $1,000 down. See your nearest dealer. He'll have all the facts.
Visit your 5-star Honda dealers and test drive a new Honda today.
Downtown Dayton Days happening now at Price Stores. $200 double and single breasted suits just $99.88, and lots more downtown now at Price Stores, where smart shoppers save about half.
Moore's Fitness World is your official Reebok Step Aerobic headquarters. We feature treadmills, life steps, life cycles, circuit training, and cross training. We have everything for the finest aerobic workouts anywhere. No matter what results you want, Moore's Fitness has the program for you. And now you can join during the Moore's Light special for only $14 a month. If Moore's Light isn't twice as good as any program you've ever tried, you can stop paying. Stop in for a free one-day membership and see how Moore's has made fitness a science. Hurry, the $14 special ends Thursday.
Pizza! 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 Pizza Hut!
When you order out for pizza, make the right call. Pizza Hut, the only pizza delivery with Pizza Hut quality pizza.
Make the right call now to Pizza Hut Delivery for the large for medium charge deal. For a limited time, get a large pizza for the price of a medium pizza. Equal number of toppings, please. Call now for the large for medium charge deal.
Turn to WDTN Channel 2, news that hits home. With Jack Hicks, Donna Jordan, and Chief Meteorologist Carl Nichols. The 5 o'clock report continues.
You know, we've heard the horror stories about doctors who go too far and cross the line with their patients.
On tonight's cover story, Carl Day takes a look at the issue of medical ethics and one doctor who's accused of a bedside manner that had more to do with bed than manners.
Pay's attorneys entered a not guilty plea for him. The doctor had no formal statement for the judge, but outside there were plenty of comments from a group of Pay's current patients, and they're on his side.
We all love Dr. Pay because we do not believe what's happening. And we want to be here for him because he's such a fine man and a calm and gentling force in our lives.
I don't believe anything that has just been said about Dr. Pay. I trust the man totally. If my girls were old enough, I would take them to Dr. Pay.
So just what is that fine line that turns a patient into a plaintiff? We came here to the Frederick White Health Center on the Wright State campus to get some answers.
Reimbursement.
Dr. Robert Reese is an ethics professor here, and he told me that fine line is tough to spot.
But there are fine lines. I mean, there are some difficulties in deciding how much friendliness with patients crosses over the line of undue intimacy or might be perceived by patients in that kind of way.
What is the real defining thing from a physician's point?
Oh, I don't think you can define that in any precise way. I think that's precisely the difficulty. That there really is no way to have a precise definition, and therefore there's a judgment involved.
Reese also mentioned the number of cases involving doctors being sued by patients is on the rise again. Patients are going to court more, but there are some other options if you have a problem with your doctor. First of all, you can contact your local medical society. Here's the number. Or the State Medical Board in Columbus.
Now, by the way, since the story about Dr. Pay broke, 24 more women have come forward to claim similar incidents involving the doctor. Their complaints will be turned over to the grand jury, and it could result in more charges for Dr. Pay.
And coming up next, trapped by a disease trapped in his home. The crippling effects of emphysema, a disease which never needs to happen. A special report in Family Health.
And on 2 News at 5:30, should a firefighter be denied his job just because he's overweight? The people he protects don't think so, but his bosses do.
During this commercial break, some people are going to put on weight, while others are going to start taking it off.
The Nutrisystem 3-day spring sale. Call now and pay $10 a month plus the cost of meals. Do it now. Call 1-800-321-THIN.
You can change the way you look, the way you feel, the very way you think about food. Call Nutrisystem. Once you change the head, the body's easy.
Visit the new Turtle Creek Flea Market, located at I-75 and Route 63. You'll find fantastic bargains in beautiful 14-karat jewelry, stereos, one-of-a-kind crafts, great buys on furniture, a large assortment of tools, fresh fruits and vegetables, and much more. Turtle Creek Flea Market is fully air-conditioned. It's open every Saturday and Sunday from 9 till 5. It's located at I-75 and Route 63. Visit the excitement at Turtle Creek Flea Market.
Let's talk about great pears, Fred and Ginger.
Zigging and zagging, washing and drying. Well, a washer without a dryer is just wet clothes. And who wants some soggy old wring it out hanging on the line, signal every bird in the neighborhood kind of stuff? Well, you don't have to. Not with the pick-a-pair sale that's going on at your Get It Today store, RTO, rent to own. RTO's got a full-size washer paired up with a dryer for only $18.99 a week. Free delivery today, $18.99. Look us up in the white pages under RTO.
Ever dreamed of being a sportscaster?
Hey, takes years of practice.
Think you can do sports like Omar?
Like me? Who are you trying to kid?
Now's your big chance. Write to Guest Sportscaster, care of Channel 2, P.O. Box 741, Dayton, and in 25 words or less, tell us why you think you could do sports like Omar. Prizes will be awarded to the top 25, and the top 5 will do sports on 2 News.
Hey, it sure beats working for a living.
Arby's 2 new value melts for just 99 cents. Get one with tangy cheddar or another with luscious Swiss. Each just 99 cents for a limited time at Arby's.
Tonight, our HealthCast, 2 warnings about keeping healthy. We're going to be starting a series on how to breathe easier.
Marcia Bonhart is here with that, but first she has a warning about bad cider that can make you sick. Of all your reports, I didn't expect to hear this one.
Believe it, an apple a day? Well, we better be careful on this one, or the juice from it might hurt you. It comes from cider not treated properly. Listen closely to find out what you need to avoid when it comes to dangerous cider. Now, apple cider could transmit a deadly virus if the cider is unpasteurized and unpreserved. Cider prepared with uncleaned apples can harbor dangerous E. coli bacteria for up to 20 days. Now, you can reduce the risk of contracting the bacteria by drinking only cider made from washed and brushed apples. Those are apples brushed with sodium benzoate, or by drinking only pasteurized cider. Check the label before you buy and avoid cider sold in roadside fruit stands. Well, so often we take inhaling and exhaling for granted. We're doing it here and we're not even thinking about it. It's natural. It's something most of us do without thinking. But if your respiratory system is diseased, taking a breath means a lot more than pausing for a thought. And especially for the 2.5 million people with emphysema, it's literally a matter of taking a breath for their lives.
You feel you're just sucking on air and you can't get any. And
it's a miserable sounding way to live, sucking on air, trying to breathe, and you can't. But that's the way life has been for Charles Davis for the last 5 years. Davis has emphysema. His lungs have lost their elasticity. Something as simple as inhaling and exhaling takes a toll on his body, especially his heart.
You have progressive air trapping that leads to progressive lung destruction.
Charles Davis is trapped too. He can no longer climb the stairs in his home, so he remains on the first floor always. And he's forced to stay connected to his oxygen. This is what Charles Davis's lungs probably look like. This is a lung diseased by emphysema. Notice the collection of the soot-looking substance. It's tar and nicotine from years of smoking cigarettes. Charles Davis smoked for 48 years.
No, smoking. Primarily it was smoking. Oh, possibly there might have been some problems environmentally over the years, but never really any problem. It was the cigarettes, there's no doubt about that.
Smoking, according to the Kettering Medical Center's Dr. Rubio, is responsible for 90% of emphysema cases. You can't get any more plain than that. We're going to talk more about pulmonary problems. All this information is through the Kettering Medical Center and its latest issue of the Kettering Quarterly magazine.
I hate to be judgmental, but I don't know how a smoker can look at that story and not be touched by it.
I think it will scare all of us, smokers and non-smokers, I tell you.
Tough addiction. Okay, let's go to Wall Street now, find out what the stock market did today. It went up. The industrials up almost 3 points, 3449.10. Volume today was 272.5 million shares.
All right, now let's get these temperatures up. We've been promised, and so far today was a nice day.
Nice day today. We had a high of 75, not that far away from that magic mark of 80, and actually a little bit above normal because our normal high this time of the year is getting up right about at 70 degrees. So we were up to 75, a mix of clouds and sun around. Currently, we've backed off a few degrees. Right now, it's still mild, though, 70, partly to mostly cloudy skies around the Miami Valley. And there is a couple of scattered showers around as well. 70 right now in Dayton at the airport, 64% humidity. We currently have a southwest wind at 9. And right now across the Miami Valley, our weather checkers reporting temperatures in the upper 60s to the lower 70s. Harvey Day down in Warren County, and Franklin reports 73, 69 in Clark overnight tonight. Low temperatures, once we clear the skies, will drop down into the low and mid-50s. A Radar 2100 radar has been tracking some showers over the past several hours, moving down from eastern Indiana into western Ohio, some running now from northern Preble County down into northern Montgomery County and on southeastward from there. These will be moving across the area, especially from the Dayton area, south and east, over the next couple of hours early this evening. Satellite picture today showing a lot of clouds over the northeastern part of the country. We're right on the back edge of the cloud, so as this moves northeastward, that's going to allow some dry air to move in tonight. Our skies will be clearing overnight tonight. A lot of moisture, a lot of clouds out in the Plain States. Most of this area will stay to the west of us. On our national map, we've got a cold front down the east coast with some clouds and showers there. High pressure, though, is taking control of our weather, and that's going to be with us for a couple of days. My forecast tonight, a shower around in some spots early this evening, then clearing overnight and pleasant. Lows will be into the low and mid-50s. Then tomorrow, look for a mostly sunny day and warm, pleasantly warm, with a high tomorrow afternoon in the upper 70s. And that's just the start of something good.
Oh, I like that when he's so assertive.
Coming up later on 2 News at 6, was it a case of a peeping photographer? The man who ran this university photo studio is now accused of setting up a hidden video camera and spying on students in the women's dressing room.
But next, these cats are being forced to suffer nausea. Is that right, even if it helps people cure their own illnesses? The debate over animal research continues, and we'll be right back.
Right now, for a limited time, you can get a smart lease for just $449 a month for 24 months on a new 1993 Cadillac DeVille. Right now, for a limited time, you can get a $2,000 cash bonus when you buy a new Cadillac DeVille or Fleetwood. It's an outstanding value. So hurry in while the selection is great. Lease it now. Buy it now. Lease it. Buy it. It's your choice.
Hurry in for a Cadillac Spring Spectacular now.
Everyone knows how simple it is to buy a gun. Now, Inside Edition shows you how easily someone can do even more damage. In many states, all you need is a driver's license to buy as much dynamite as you want, and criminals know it.
How easy is it for you to get dynamite in this state? Snap of the finger, I can get it whenever.
Inside Edition investigates whether terrorists have been given a license to bomb.
Inside Edition, tonight at 7 on Channel 2.
Right now, just for you, we have our 10-piece family meal deal for only $9.99.
Fabulous price.
You get your choice of famous recipe, oven roasted or crispy plus.
The choice to me is important because, you know, your mood changes.
You also get 2 pints of vegetables and 4 biscuits, enough to feed a family of 4 or 5.
Whenever you can feed 5 people for $10, you're not doing bad.
The best chicken in town, and I'm a chicken connoisseur.
That's why everybody's picking Lee's Chicken.
We were the first family members to reach my dad's town. Everything had changed. His pastor, his friends, his neighbors. I called the Trust 100 Funeral Home because I knew it was owned by a family who'd lived in town for years. They took care of everything. The hospital, the cemetery, all the paperwork. We felt like we were part of their family.
See your yellow pages for the family-owned Trust 100 Funeral Home nearest you.
Trust 100, their family.
Tonight, the battle between animal activists and doctors is alive again in the Miami Valley.
Scientists who use animals in research are fighting the animals' rights activists tonight. Recently, the activists have targeted Wright State University, which uses animals for research. Wright State invited a scientist with the National Institutes of Health to the campus today. Dr. Adrian Morrison says the activists mislead the public about what happens.
As well as one could expect humanly possible. And therefore, I believe that the movement is really more misanthropic and anti-human than it is pro-animal welfare.
Morrison accuses the animal rights activists of using terrorism in their campaign to stop animal experiments.
Of course, everybody knows that the issue of animal testing is an emotional one. It's also divisive. In fact, hardly anybody is neutral on this subject.
Animal rights leaders claim there are ways to do medical research without animals. In tonight's 2 News Extra, Jim Blue explores the issue from both sides.
Well, research on animals, without a doubt, has saved lives, human lives. But many animal rights activists say there are now alternatives. Tonight, a view inside the lab.
were used by NASA.
These cats at Wright State University are being used for research on nausea. Travelers with motion sickness, women with morning sickness, and cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy may all benefit. Is there any other mechanism other than an animal that you could use?
I don't know of any. What possibly could you? If it doesn't vomit, you can't use it. So snails and bugs aren't usable. Rodents aren't usable because, again, they don't vomit.
Dr. Robert Stuhlman is in charge of Wright State's lab animals. He's often been the target of animal rights activists. Activists such as Royce Reynolds.
I think if they could open their minds and just look at the other alternatives and see what non-animal research can do, because they have not even given it a chance.
Reynolds is referring to alternatives such as human tissue cultures or computer models. She says some studies on rats and mice have even given misleading results.
Certain drugs that have been tested on rats have killed people worldwide.
Indeed, some substances don't hurt rats and do hurt people. Arsenic doesn't cause cancer in many animals, but does cause lung cancer in humans.
Animal research and animal experimentation is just so ingrained in the public's mind that that is the only way that we can find cures, okay? But the fact is that animal research has harmed too many people.
But animal research also promises to help many people. The research on these rabbits may help premature babies breathe. Is there any other technique that you could use besides using animals if you were doing research like this?
At this point, no. Animals are necessary to evaluate the safety and effectiveness.
If it could be proved that some animal testing was necessary, some was not, your group would still come down on the side of no animal testing, right?
That's right, we would.
Well, more alternatives to animal testing are opening up all the time. In fact, an important test on the cancer-causing properties of chemicals is already done on bacteria. But scientists aren't going to abandon animal testing anytime soon.
And the debate rages on.
It certainly does.
Okay, Jim, thanks. Thank you for turning to the 2 News 5 o'clock report.
Still ahead on 2 News at 5:30, this teacher was trusted. Trusted by parents, trusted by students, and trusted by his school district. But now he could go to prison.
And folks in West Dayton who don't want a landfill on this site say they've lost the battle, but they've actually won the war.
These stories and more next on 2 News at 5:30.
Stay with us.